Hi, and welcome to The Banker's View from Sibos, filmed here on location in Toronto. I'm Joy Macknight, Deputy Editor at The Banker, and I'm joined by Mark Evans, Managing Director, Transaction Banking at ANZ. Thank you so much for joining us, Mark.
Good to see you, Joy.
What do you think is the buzz on the conference floor here in Toronto?
Well, I'm hoping that we're part of that buzz. You may have seen this morning that JPM put out an announcement about how we're collaborating around information sharing between JP Morgan, ANZ and RBC. And we think this is really important because it's another example of how banks are collaborating to remove inefficiencies from how we conduct our business and collaborating, which should result in better outcomes for our customers and better outcomes for the bank. So I think hopefully that's part of the buzz. Other areas that are I'm not sure whether you'd call them buzz, but of concern and topics of conversation continue to be cybercrime. You know, that's really emerging. But also proactively how else technology is solving problems, not necessarily a source of frustration. So I think that's really positive. And overall, early days in the conference so far, but I'd say there's more optimism about the outlook for global growth. So the last couple of years we've seen issues around or hesitancy around Brexit, US elections, NPP, TPP. Now we're seeing people embracing that and getting used to what the new norm is. So I think that's this year.
And for the last couple of years, there's been a big focus also on digitalization.
Yeah.
How can the banks, really bring their customers on that digitalization journey with them?
Well, that's a really good question. Also, I like the way you phrased that, but I think a lot of our customers would be asking how they bring the banks on their digitalisation journey as well. And I think the challenge there, or the opportunity, is we all know that we need to digitise our workflows and our operating environment. The challenge we have is making sure that we're aligned around what we're trying to achieve and understand that as much as that's the end state we want to get to, we're all at different stages of being able to actually practically apply it because we have day-to-day challenges. So the key really is to make sure that we've got alignment between the customer and the bank as to what we can do and focus in on those quick pain points and digitise those and then progressively roll it out further.
Okay. How would you say that banks could really use compliance as a differentiator within the business?
Well, I think I'm really supportive of that. What the customers need to know is that when they're dealing with banks, and there's lots of disruptors out there, banks can differentiate themselves against disruption by being understood as being trusted counterparties that are regulated entities, and with that, customers can take comfort. But then within the banking community, customers will choose between those that they know are compliant and trustworthy, and if there's an issue, they won't be inadvertently drawn into a regulatory investigation or something along those lines. Customers don't want to be involved in breaches of, jurisdictional issues. They want to know that who they're dealing with understands the markets in which they operate, respect those, regulatory requirements, and are delivering a compliant outcome for them. So that's how I think transaction banks will continue to be able to differentiate by virtue of the fact that they're delivering compliant outcomes to the customers.
Excellent. Obviously there's been tons of hype and buzz around blockchain. What are the real life applications, do you think, of that technology?
What we're hoping is that the announcement we made this morning with JP Morgan will prove to be another example of something that's moved to a practical outcome. There has been a lot of hype around blockchain and new technologies, distributed ledger more broadly. And so for the past couple of years, there's been lots of proof of concepts out there. I think, the marketplace, both customers and banks, are moving beyond wanting to see another proof of concept. They're wanting to see how it steps up to be scalable and is delivering true benefits, more than just a good idea. And there's nothing wrong with good ideas. We've got to try, we've got to test, we've got to learn, we've got to allow ourselves to fail from time to time. But I think that, I think the hype is dying down and people are looking more practically in terms of identifying true pain points and applying the technology that's available to solve real life problems.
Okay. Maybe my last question is really around some of the market trends in your region, whether it's your home markets of Australia and New Zealand or more broadly in the Asia region.
Sure. So I guess the key trends that we see, and given, as you say, we're a large bank in Australia and New Zealand as our home markets, but we have an extensive network through Asia and the Pacific, we're seeing many of our customers looking for us to deliver insights through the data that we have and increasingly aggregating data that they provide and is of importance to them. It's not about us just providing them, here's some data about your business. It's about, here's some data about your business and some insights that run with that. Now obviously our geographic footprint gives us a point of differentiation because we can really join their supply chains from Asia into Australia and Asia into New Zealand and New Zealand across to Australia. So that trend is really very visible. So the need to open up our data, the need to provide that, not just the data but the insights, and really follow those geographic flows, our understanding of customers' needs, not just in one jurisdiction, but in any one of 34. So they're the trends that we're really seeing.
Excellent. Thank you so much for your insights, Mark.
Thanks for your time.